When you think of UFC champions, you probably picture expensive cars, designer clothes, and massive mansions.
I can do whatever I want in the world. I can buy any house in the world. But don't give me good energy.
But some of the wealthiest fighters in the sport choose to live completely different lives. They drive regular vehicles, work normal jobs, and save their money instead of spending it. These fighters have made millions inside the octagon, yet they refuse to let fame change who they are.
They make me clean the toilets all the time. It's terrible. They're just having fun.
From champions who still work as firefighters to legends who refuse luxury, here's a look at UFC fighters who stay humble no matter how much money they make. Stipe Miocic, that being a world champion doesn't mean you have to quit your day job. The heavyweight champion, he's also a full-time firefighter and paramedic in Ohio. While other fighters his size are buying sports cars and living the celebrity lifestyle, Stipe shows up to the firehouse for his shifts, cleans toilets, and responds to emergency calls. His net worth sits around $4 million, yet he drives a simple black van and lives a modest life with his wife and 2 kids. When asked why he keeps working despite being a UFC champion, Stipe's answer is simple. He needs something to fall back on when fighting is over. His fellow firefighters don't treat him any differently either. In fact, they make sure his first shift after every fight includes scrubbing the station bathrooms.
Oh yeah, all the time. They make me clean the toilets all the time. It's terrible. They're just having fun.
It's their way of keeping him grounded, and Stipe wouldn't have it any other way. He's been with the Valley View Fire Department since around 2010, and over the years, he's saved lives, put out fires, and even convinced a woman experiencing chest pain to go to the hospital when she didn't think it was necessary. That woman ended up going into cardiac arrest in the ambulance, and Stipe performed CPR and used a defibrillator to bring her back. She survived because of him. Stories like that remind everyone that Stipe isn't just tough in the cage. He's a genuine hero outside of it too. His co-workers say he's the same guy now as he was when he first walked into the station. Fame and championship belts haven't changed him at all. He's still goofy, down to earth, and one of them. When kids visit the station, Stipe becomes a magnet, playing around and making them laugh. He even lent the UFC heavyweight championship belt to his fire chief's son for a school project about famous figures in Ohio history. Imagine being a 9-year-old and walking into class with the real heavyweight title. That's the kind of guy Stipe is. His salary as a firefighter isn't huge, but he values the work. He loves what he does and finds it fun. While he's earned $600,000 or more for some of his UFC fights, not including pay-per-view cuts, he still believes in having that steady job waiting for him. Stipe grew up in a working-class Croatian-American family, and his mother always encouraged him to stay involved in sports. He played baseball and wrestled, even getting interest from Major League Baseball teams during college. But fighting became his path, and he's handled success better than most. Even after defending the heavyweight title a record-breaking number of times and defeating legends like Daniel Cormier and Francis Ngannou, Stipe goes home to his property in rural Ohio. No flashy cars, no ego, just a man who values family, hard work, and staying true to his roots. He once said that after a fight, all he wants to do is go home, see his dogs, and hang out with his wife. That's it. No parties, no celebrations, just the simple pleasures of life. And when his daughter was born, Stipe made it clear that family comes first. He trains hard, fights hard, and then returns to the life he's built. It's a life that doesn't revolve around money or fame, but around the people and work that matter most to him. Khabib Nurmagomedov. Speaking of fighters who reject the typical celebrity lifestyle, Khabib Nurmagomedov took frugality to another level. With a net worth estimated at $40 million, Khabib could afford anything he wanted. But instead, he chose to live simply, invest wisely, and stay connected to his roots in Dagestan. Growing up, Khabib lived what he called an army lifestyle with his father and about 15 other fighters. They all stayed in one big rented house in Makachkala, starting around 1999, and everyone had to cook, clean, and take care of themselves. There was no help, no luxury, just hard work and discipline. That upbringing shaped Khabib into the man he became. Even after retiring undefeated at 29 wins and 0 losses, Even after becoming one of the most famous athletes in Russia, Khabib refused to change. He once said in his UFC Hall of Fame speech that he doesn't like expensive things because they don't bring him good energy.
I can do whatever I want in the world. I can buy any house in the world, but this is don't give me good energy.
Think about that. A man worth tens of millions of dollars, rejecting materialism because it doesn't align with his values. When he was offered a $40 million contract to come out of retirement, he turned it down without hesitation. Money wasn't his motivation. Legacy was. Khabib doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, and doesn't party. His life revolves around structure, discipline, and faith. He married his first love, Patimat, in a private ceremony, and she stayed completely out of the public eye. You won't find her on social media, and very few people even know what she looks like. Khabib fiercely protects his family's privacy, refusing to let fame invade their personal lives. He has 3 children, and he's dedicated to raising them with the same values his father instilled in him. When his father passed away from COVID in 2020, Khabib retired immediately. He had promised his mother he wouldn't fight without his father, and he kept that promise. No amount of money could change his mind. Khabib's relationship with money is refreshing in a sport filled with flashy personalities. While Conor McGregor bought Lamborghinis and expensive watches, Khabib stayed humble. He didn't need to prove anything to anyone. His legacy spoke for itself. After retirement, Khabib opened a gym in Dagestan, named after his father, the Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov Martial Arts School. His goal isn't to make money, it's to train the next generation of fighters and give back to his community. He also purchased a Russian MMA promotion and renamed it Eagle Fighting Championship, using his influence to create opportunities for other fighters. Everything Khabib does is intentional and rooted in values that go beyond wealth. He said that he fights for his legacy, his history, and his people, not for money. That mindset kept him grounded through all the fame and success. Khabib grew up in a region threatened by war and extremism, where wrestling offered young men an alternative to violence. His father used martial arts to guide kids toward better futures, and Khabib continues that mission. He's the most popular athlete in Russia, with over 34 million followers on Instagram, yet he lives a quiet, structured life. His daily routine during his fighting career was simple: train, eat, sleep, repeat. Nothing fancy, nothing excessive, just the discipline required to be the best. Even now, Khabib's life revolves around coaching, family, and preserving his father's legacy. He doesn't chase luxury or try to impress anyone. He's content with what he has, and that contentment comes from knowing his wealth was earned through hard work and sacrifice, not from shortcuts or ego. Max Holloway. Now, let's talk about Max Holloway, a fighter who's lived through more hardship than most people can imagine. With a net worth around $5 million, Max has every reason to live large. But instead, he's focused on building a stable life for his family and staying connected to his roots in Hawaii. Max didn't grow up with money. His parents were both heavy drug users, and his father was abusive before leaving when Max was around 11 years old. His mother struggled with crystal meth addiction, often disappearing for days and leaving Max and his siblings with their grandparents. It wasn't until Max's older brother threatened to cut their mother out of her future grandchild's life that she finally got clean. Growing up in that environment, Max saw firsthand what drugs could do to families. He made a conscious decision never to go down that path. He said he didn't want to become another person in a statistics book. If he was going to make an impact, it would be in a positive way, even if that meant punching people for a living. Max started training in kickboxing at 15, and after just 3 days of training, he won his first amateur fight. That early success gave him hope that fighting could be his way out, and it was. Max turned pro at 19 and eventually made it to the UFC.
Oh my God, it's like a 10-punch combo from Max.
Where he became one of the greatest featherweights in history. He held the UFC Featherweight Championship from 2017 to 2019, landed in a single fight, but stays grounded. He married his longtime girlfriend in 2012, and they had a son named Rush before separating in 2014 and divorcing in 2017. Max later married pro surfer Alessa Cuizon in 2022, and together they're building a life focused on family and stability. Max doesn't buy expensive cars or designer clothes. He's not flashy on social media, and he doesn't brag about his wealth. Instead, he focuses on his training, his family, and giving back to his community in Hawaii. In 2021, Max received the Forrest Griffin Community Award for his charitable work, recognizing his efforts to support people in need. Max has said that his rough upbringing taught him valuable lessons about perseverance and resilience. He tells people that it's never about how you start the race, it's about how you finish, and he encourages others to finish strong, no matter what obstacles they face. When it comes to training, Max is dedicated and disciplined. He balances heavy lifting, cardio, and technical work, constantly evolving as a fighter. He believes in fitting everything in without cutting corners, because cutting corners might work temporarily, but eventually, you'll face someone who didn't take shortcuts. That philosophy applies to his life outside the octagon, too. Max isn't trying to get rich quick or chase fame. He's building something lasting. Even as one of the most exciting fighters to watch, with incredible striking and unmatched cardio, Max remains humble. He recently moved up to lightweight permanently, and he's still competing at the highest level. At 34 years old, he's not slowing down. But when the cameras are off and the fights are over, Max goes home to his family, enjoys simple pleasures like gaming, and stays connected to the values that got him through his difficult childhood. He's living proof that success doesn't have to change who you are at your core. Jim Miller. Then there's Jim Miller, the definition of a blue-collar fighter. With a net worth around $2 million and over 40 fights in the UFC, Jim holds records for most wins in the lightweight division and most total fights in UFC history.
You now become the fighter with the most wins in the history of the UFC.
Yet he lives one of the most modest lifestyles you'll find among professional athletes. Jim resides on an 8-acre property in rural New Jersey with his wife and 4 kids, and they run what's essentially a self-sufficient farm. They raise chickens, ducks, goats, pigs, dogs, and cats. They grow their own food, hunt for meat, and try to harvest as much as possible from their land. Jim even hopes to build a smokehouse one day so he can catch and smoke fresh trout. This isn't just a hobby for Jim, it's a way of life. He grew up in a family that cooked homemade meals and spent time in the garden and woods. His father was a farmer who built furniture, and Jim learned to appreciate hard work and self-reliance from a young age. Now, he's passing those values on to his children. Jim doesn't spend money on luxuries. He doesn't flex expensive cars or designer clothes on social media. Instead, he promotes healthy living and the importance of finding your own food. He hunts deer, cooks venison for his family, and teaches his kids how to survive without modern conveniences. Jim has even taken 3 of his 4 kids on overnight camping trips in freezing temperatures, 18 degrees Fahrenheit or colder, to teach them resilience and self-sufficiency. He wants them to be a little uncomfortable, a little hungry, but still have fun without screens or technology. Jim's daily routine depends on whether he has a fight coming up. If he does, he focuses heavily on training. If not, he handles farm chores, gets the kids to school, and works on various projects around the property. He's constantly tinkering, learning new things, and building. His father taught him carpentry, and Jim enjoys woodworking in his free time. He doesn't watch TV or movies unless he's on a plane. Life on the farm keeps him busy enough. Jim is still competing at a high level. He's knocked out opponents, submitted fighters, and earned multiple Fight of the Night bonuses throughout his career, and never pulled out of a fight, except when COVID protocols forced him to withdraw, but he fought again a month later anyway. Jim's fought on UFC 100, UFC 200, and UFC 300, making him the only fighter to compete at all 3 milestone events. That kind of longevity is rare, and it's a testament to Jim's toughness and dedication. But what makes Jim truly unique is his refusal to let fighting define him. He knows his career will end eventually, so he's preparing for life after the octagon. He's written a book called The Fighter's Cookbook, which he sells online, and he's working on building content around his homesteading lifestyle. Jim wants to educate and inspire others to become more self-sufficient. He calls his farm Calamity Farm, because something is always going wrong, but that's part of the charm. Jim's approach to life is simple: work hard, save money, and provide for your family. He's not chasing fame or fortune. He's chasing stability and legacy. And when he finally retires from fighting, he'll transition into the next chapter without missing a beat, because he's been preparing for it all along. Edmen Shabazian. Let's shift to Edmen Shabazian, a young fighter who's already shown maturity beyond his years when it comes to money. At just 28 years old, Edmen has compiled an 8-5 record in the UFC, facing tough competition and learning valuable lessons along the way. His net worth isn't publicly known, but given his fight earnings and endorsements, he's made solid money. Yet Edmen lives a simple, focused life in Las Vegas, dedicating himself to training and family. Edmen grew up in Glendale, California, in an Armenian-American household. He started training in martial arts at 9 years old and joined Glendale Fighting Club at 12, where he trained under Edmond Tarverdian, the same coach who worked with Ronda Rousey. As a teenager, Edmen even served as a training partner for Rousey, gaining invaluable experience early in his career. He wrestled in high school, reaching the CIF State Wrestling Championship tournament before turning his full attention to MMA. Edmen turned pro in 2017 and quickly went 6-0, winning every fight by first-round knockout. His performance on Dana White's Contender Series earned him a UFC contract, and he debuted at just 20 years old.
Sometimes we forget that you're just 27 years old.
Edmen started his UFC career with 4 straight wins, including a knockout of Brad Tavares that rocketed him into the top 10 at middleweight. But then reality hit. Edmen lost 3 straight fights to Derek Brunson, Jack Hermanson, and Nassourdine Imavov. The hype train derailed, and people started questioning whether he was ready for elite competition. But Edmen didn't panic. He moved to Las Vegas, started training with coach Eric Nixick at Extreme Couture, and made adjustments. He focused on building a stable life outside the gym, spending time with his partner, and staying disciplined. Edmen doesn't chase luxury or fame. He keeps things simple. Train hard, go home, spend time with family, repeat. That routine has paid off. Edmen has won his last 3 fights, including knockouts of Dylan Budka and Andre Muniz. He's back on track and improving with each performance. What stands out about Edmen is his maturity. At 28, he's already been through the highs and lows of professional fighting. He's experienced the hype, faced adversity, and come out stronger. And through it all, he stayed humble. Edmen doesn't post about expensive purchases or flex on social media. He focuses on his craft, his family, and his community. He's proudly Armenian and has used his platform to support Armenia during difficult times, even displaying the Nagorno-Karabakh flag during a walkout to raise awareness about the conflict there. Edmen's approach to money mirrors his approach to fighting, calculated, disciplined, and focused on long-term success. He's not interested in quick wins or instant gratification. He's building something sustainable, knowing that fighting careers are short and planning for life after the octagon is essential. For someone so young, Edmen has his priorities straight, and that's rare in a sport where many fighters blow through their earnings without thinking about the future. Demetrius Johnson. Finally, let's talk about Demetrius Johnson, widely considered one of the greatest mixed martial artists of all time. With a net worth around $6 million, Mighty Mouse dominated the UFC flyweight division for years, defending his title a record 11 consecutive times. Yet despite his success, Demetrius lived one of the most modest lifestyles in the sport. For the first 15 fights of his career, including 3 UFC bouts, Demetrius worked full-time at a recycling factory, operating a forklift truck from 7 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon. He trained after work, fitting his MMA career around his day job because he was afraid he wouldn't make enough money from fighting to support his family. His coach, Matt Hume, kept asking him to go full-time with fighting, but Demetrius refused. He needed the security of that paycheck. Eventually, he took the leap, and it paid off. But even as champion, Demetrius never forgot where he came from. He didn't buy flashy cars or live extravagantly. Instead, he focused on saving money for his kids' college funds. Demetrius married his wife Destiny in 2012, and they have 3 children together. He said many times that she's the best thing that ever happened to him, and without her, life would be incomplete. Family comes first for Demetrius, always. Even at the peak of his career, when he was the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world, Demetrius stayed grounded. He didn't seek fame or attention. In fact, he's been criticized for not being marketable enough because he doesn't trash talk or create drama. Demetrius doesn't care. He wants to be judged by his accomplishments in the ring, not by how loud he is outside of it. When he's not fighting, Demetrius is in full dad mode. He does chores, watches cartoons with his kids, and lives a normal life. He's an avid gamer and streams on YouTube under the username Mighty, interacting with fans and building a community. For Demetrius, gaming isn't just a hobby. It's preparation for life after fighting. He's building his audience now, so that when he retires, he can transition into streaming as a main source of income. That kind of forward thinking is rare. While other fighters spend recklessly and struggle financially after retiring, Demetrius is setting himself up for long-term success. He knows fighting won't last forever, so he's investing in skills and platforms that will support his family for years to come. Demetrius's humility and work ethic have earned him respect across the MMA world. Even though he's one of the greatest to ever do it, he doesn't act like it. He shows up, does his job, and goes home to his family. No ego, no drama, just excellence. After leaving the UFC in 2018 and moving to ONE Championship, Demetrius continued to dominate, winning the ONE flyweight title and proving he's still elite. He retired in 2024 and was inducted into the ONE Championship Hall of Fame. Throughout his entire career, Demetrius stayed true to himself. He didn't let money or fame change who he was. He remained the humble kid from Washington who worked a factory job and just wanted to take care of his family. These fighters prove that wealth doesn't have to change you. They all made millions, but they chose values over excess. Which fighter's lifestyle surprised you the most? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section, and before you leave, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to MMA Rivals so you don't miss the next ones.